My dear Dasarians, the non-Brahmins, Vanakkam. Be proud to be Shudras. Since your ancestors earned this title not because they were born as a low caste, as described by the evil Varnashrama theory, but because they found the formulae, the Shudras, to reach God. Let us see what Krishna, Kannapiran in Tamil, the very great Sutradhari, says in one of his sutras, the Moksha Sanyasa Yogam. This is a very big chapter. I have given more explanation. Read patiently the Dravidian non-Brahmin devotees. Dravidian Arjuna asked him to explain the difference between sacrifice and sannyasam, and Kannapiran, the non-Brahmin god, explains. People say that sannyasam is to give up the things that are done out of desire. Sacrifice is the abandonment of the fruits of action. My opinion on this is worship, donation, penance, etc. should not be avoided. They purify the people who do it properly. But these things too should be done without any attachment and expectation of reward. It is not right to give up duty due to confusion. It is a sacrifice of the tamasam. It is a sacrifice of rajasam to give up duty for fear of disturbing the body. There is no sacrifice in this. Sacrifice is of satvikam, doing one's duty without any attachment and expectation of reward, only because it is worthy of doing. The martyr of the satvik is not averse to anything just because it gives suffering, and likes because it gives pleasure. The martyr is the one who has left the reward of the work without leaving the work. Those who act with attachment experience the three-way effects of happiness, suffering, and mixture of these two after death. The unattached have never had the effects of these rewards. When man starts doing something good or bad, he is the one who is doing it. The multi-organs, the various processes, the five great natural power, etc. become the cause of his doings. Then he who sees the soul, the individual object as the cause, is foolish. There is an interesting news in this place. Kannapiran says that he who is relieved from egotism and whose mind is of unattached intellect will not kill the world even if he kills them all. He will not be in the bond that comes. பொய்மையும் வாய்மையிடத்த புரை தீர்ந்த நன்மை பயக்குமெனே. Falsehood is truth if it is good. There is no liar who does not use this Tirukkural in a reasonable way. Likewise, the ordinary murderer does not know this slogan, but the educated killer will certainly use this slogan of Krishna for his peace of mind. Otherwise, how would he get a sleep? Who will determine whether I am a person who has wiped out the egotism or unattached person? So the non-Brahmin devotee should take this slogan as an example, and if some killer says this to justify their actions, who will determine whether I am a person who has wiped out the egotism or unattached person? Say that. The Vedas speak only three things of qualities, and they repeatedly push into a tragic cycle of birth. Lord Krishna, who says to abandon them and transcend the three qualities, is again describing the three things here. Let us think of the three explanations, but it is a blatant deception to move it and to set up the professions of the four castes centering on these three qualities. One of the deceived one was I am myself. I will also explain that later. It is said here that there are three types of knowledge: action, doer, intellect, determination, and happiness according to the modes of satvikam, rajasam, and tamasam. The knowledge of the person who sees the one that is not affected in the various creatures that are affected is the knowledge of the satvikam. Differentiating one from the other is rajasam. It is the knowledge of tamasam that holds on to something that is not appropriate. Doing his duty without expecting any benefit, unattached, without any likes and dislikes, is sattvic act. The act of rajasam is the act of desire and ego and painstaking work. It is a tamasam that involves in the act bringing in bad and sufferings without estimating one's own strength and without thinking of the consequences. He who is unattached, not haughty, determined and motivated, and who does not change in success and failure is sattvic. Rajasa is a desire, acting with expectations, miser, troubling others, a person who is unclean and subjected to pleasure and suffering. Tamas is a wandering mind, unwise, rude, deceitful, spoiler of others' lives, always worried, lazy, delayed. Karma is what and what is akarma? What is the bond and what is salvation? What is worth doing and what is not? Fear and fearlessness. And the reasoning of these things is sattvic intellect. Rajasam is not knowing what is existing actually. Knowing erratically and perversely out of ignorance is tamasa intellect. You will become a saint and come to me later, and I will give you a vision, darshana. You will now know that all that you have heard in your mind is true, said Annamalayar with Unnamalai Ammai. Then I got the Gita. There is nothing more pure than enlightenment. Seek for it. It also said that there is varnasrama dharma. I could not think of it as interpolation at that age. I believed. I have concluded that only by being born a Brahmin, I can only attain God, to confirm the explanations of the great Brahmin Perivas. I was studying B.E. at Chidambaram. All that Unnamalai Amman had said was slowly forgotten. Black July 83. The Tamils of Sri Lanka were being brutally slaughtered. It is not Kshatriya Dharma to watch when the unrighteousness occurs before the eye. So I decided to leave my studies and go to Sri Lanka to fight for Dharma. When I went to Annanur on the semester vacation, I went straight to Sivapragasa Swami of Avadi. I asked him for his blessing, saying that I had decided. He was grandfather's friend. When he heard what I said, he startled and said, "Hey, you say, what do you mean? The Kshatriya Dharma is fighting. If I die in war, I will be born a Brahmin in the next life. Only then, my Lord, I can attain enlightenment." "Who am I? Am I a Brahmin?" said he. "He is Tamil Nayakar 1 year. Do you know who my Guru is? Thiruvalam Konikatti Mauna Swamigal. He belongs to the Vannar community, washerman. Where did cash come from? He saw his Guru in a dream and then looked at the picture in the temple and went looking for him. The Guru, who had been silent for 10 years, broke his silence and said, I was waiting for you. I was not born into Brahmin caste. He was married and retired from the Perambur Railway Locomotive Factory. What did I not achieve? The duty you have been given is to study. Go and study, then I will teach you everything. When I had already told him about my mother's death, he said, I am coming. But he did not come. When the matter was over, I went and said, Swami, you said you would come. I was watching everything from here. He narrated everything about our burial ceremony with the exact time, what did we do at when. So when I heard the great Swami, I felt as if I had been deceived by the Varnasrama Dharma interpolations. Only then I had begun to attend the classes of Sadguru Sri Sadashiva Brahmendra on the floor of the Murdi's Lodge, Chennai. When I went there, the preachings of Swami that there is no Varna or Ashrama and there is no such thing as Varnasrama Dharma, everything is man-made ugly dances. Realizing God alone is one's individual dharma and it is a common dharma too, attracted me very much. You have heard the Varnasrama Dharma before coming to me, and even if I say no, you cannot accept it completely. Do the training I conduct in class with confidence. You deserve to be enlightened. You will know when it comes. I spoke to the Swami only once. After that, even when I attended classes, I did not speak to him for nearly 10 years. I was guided through his divine power, indulging in severe jabam dabam for 2 to 3 years. I went nearly mad. That Sunday, when the Lord told a story about 3 dogs in August 1989, my spiritual practice is completed and I got enlightenment, the Jnana Anubhuti. It was the Swami who was more happy than I. He told that some people would take 2 or 3 births to achieve what you have achieved now. You are enlightened soon because of the past virtue. The remaining little faith in the Chaturvarna was also shattered. I have been deceived by the Brahmin teachers throughout my life and have not cultivated any Brahmin hatred. If I had been so, I would not have been elected by the master of the same Brahmin class. When I had decided to go to Sri Lanka and fight, the Swami said in the class that the Varnasrama Dharma spoiled the spiritual interests of the devotees of non-Brahmin class and distracted them from spiritual practices, diverting them to do the caste duty. Because of Varnasrama Dharma, Hinduism has lost hundreds of Vivekanandas that should have been created by this. Now tell me how to explain the 4 caste philosophies and their lectures that have been interpolated into this place in the Gita. How can we accept the justification of the Brahmin commentators? In one of the following verses, Krishna says, "Surrender to me completely, leaving behind all dharmas. I will free you from all sins." How could he have said to do the Varnasrama Dharma? Throughout the Gita, non-Brahmin Krishna teaches non-Brahmin Arjuna to seek purely for the benefit of the spirit. All in a sudden a slogan appears here that only Brahmins should seek for spiritualism. Whether it is life or argument, the truth is that Varnasramis are liars. It is good for all to throw away these slogans out of the Gita and our minds as well, without defending and supporting to caste by way of living. Some of the following slogans are for real moksha Sanyasa Yogam. With pure intellect, firmly restrained, abstaining from listening to music, etc., freed from likes and dislikes, and in a lonely place with a simple food, a free mind, a disposition, and persistent in meditation, stable in unattachment, renouncing egotism, strength, haughty, lust, anger, and possession. Without me and myself, and who is me, he alone can attain godliness. Firmly established in godliness and with a clear mind, he is not affected by sorrows. He loves all beings equally and becomes a high devotee to me. Surrender to me, abandoning all religions. I will relieve you from all sins. Grieve not. Thus preaches non-Brahmin Swami Krishna to non-Brahmin Arjuna. Om Nandri Vanakkam.